Welcome to the International Show, sponsored by Star Central and presented by the gentleman of country radio, Mark Eckel, with Australia's First Lady of Song, Shaza Leigh.
You are tuned in to www.ozcountrymusicradio.com, simulcasting on www.ozradiogold, and also simulcasting on our allied international radio.com. Mark Eckel behind the microphone, welcoming everybody to our Star Central International show, and I'd like to introduce my co-host, Shaza Leigh. Hi, Shaza.
Hi, Mark. Fantastic to be with you, and this is a really exciting project that we're all so enthused about, and we look forward to bringing a wonderful show to everyone around the world each week.
Well, you've really jumped on that word excitement, because I'm feeling the same, and it's due to such a vast array of great numbers that we've had, fabulous music and singer-songwriters too, I might add, that we've had join us here at Oz Radio Gold over the last 12 months. And we thought, well, the culmination of that would be to put on an international show, because we've taken a number of these artists to the top of the charts in a foreign country, which is pretty good.
It's been really incredible to see the success for some of these artists that had never ventured outside of their own countries. And I'm talking about the American artists that have trusted Star Central to promote their tracks. They've been sent all around the world to over 10,000 radio stations and media people. So they're getting traction in countries that they've never tried to break into before. And in turn, our Australian artists are doing wonderful things out on the international stage like they never have had that opportunity afforded. We've always had incredible talent right across the world, but to actually now be able to bring them all together is really amazing. I'd also like to say, due to you sourcing a couple of the Irish tracks, they've had amazing success. So we're starting to build this true international network and bring country music together. I'm excited to be doing this with you, Mark.
Well, so am I, Shaza, and the other issue is too, from an Oz Country Music Radio perspective, we've never had a marketing arm, and it's so important that you do that, because as you are well aware, being a fabulous artist in your own right, and tied up with performing and being on the road, and me being behind the microphone, you like to, if you can at all, part the different ways in regards to leaving the presentation to its job, to do its job, and then having a marketing arm. So I think it's important for at the start of our promotion here, for you to explain a little bit about Star Central and how it is the marketing arm of not just Oz CMR, but it's been the marketing arm of Oz Radio Gold since the inception, of course. And now with the opportunity of having our international artists being played on Allied International Radio as well, we need to bring that all together at one site, and I think that's what Star Central does.
Yes, it does. And Star Central is a great service provider for artists and for radio stations. And so we actually, through that distribution network, we can send absolutely anything to those 10,000 people that are actively involved in country music around the world at the push of a button. And look, if you had told me this 40-odd years ago when I started my career that we would be doing this as easily as we are, I would have gone, man, it's got to be a lot more complex than it is. But we are loving the fact that we can take the music to the world, and the feedback that we're getting for all of the artists and for what we're doing is just so positive that I've probably never been quite as excited about being involved behind the scenes in the business side as much as I am today. And I have been involved in record companies and in promoting artists now for the better part of my life. We started with the LBS Music Group when I was only 25, which is some time back now, Mark. And that company has just grown as far as promoting Australian talent, but to now be able to take all that infrastructure and knowledge onto the world stage is just fantastic.
Well, it is, and I think it gathered momentum during the COVID time when people were locked to their computers and in their homes. I know that the Oz CMR numbers really spiked during that time, and of course the syndicated programs that are available and that we choose, that you choose on Oz Radio Gold and that we have on Oz Country Music Radio, and the opportunity of having our artists showcase themselves in other programs. But more of that later. I think what I'd like to do now, Shaza, is bring a couple of these artists that we have developed through our network, and thankfully they have really got a lot of traction, and one that we can talk about right now because it's the first time that this artist, Eric Diamond, from over there in America, a wonderful Western swing artist that I first heard on the Billy Bowl Show. There's another syndicated program that we have on Oz Country Music Radio that has really... every time I hear him, he lights me up. I really love his blend of music, and I came across a track called I've Got a New Heartache. I introduced that to you, and you were blown away with it as well and said that it would suit your playlist as well. And what's happened? It's got into the charts, the Tiger Oz CMN charts, for the first time this week.
Yes, and it will hit the Oz Tracks charts. There's no doubt about that. It really is gaining great traction, and he's one of the hardest working artists over in America. I believe he travels between Nashville to all areas of Texas pretty well consistently, and he's very, very popular. He's renowned as one of their best Western swing artists on radio. So I think we should have a listen to the wonderful Eric Diamond with I've Got a New Heartache.
Great choice.
You're listening to a Star Central single release, available to radio stations around the world.
You're back in town again, spreading talk around that I'm still in love with you, though you let me down. I hate to admit it, but I guess the talk is true, or else you wouldn't make my heart ache the way you do. I've got a new heartache about an old sweetheart that's left me for somebody new. I've got a new heartache about an old sweetheart, and that's why I'm feeling so blue. Why did you come back again? I was doing fine. I found another sweetheart to get you off my mind. I thought that I was over you, but I guess that it's not true, or else you wouldn't make my heart ache the way you do. I've got a new heartache about an old sweetheart that's left me for somebody new. I've got a new heartache about an old sweetheart, and that's why I'm feeling so blue. And that's why I'm feeling so blue.
The Star Central team thanks you for listening to another great artist.
He's a great artist too. That's Eric Diamond, and first week into our national charts here in Australia. So well done, Eric, with I've Got a New Heartache. I nearly got into My Whistle then, you know that.
Mate, especially for Casey over there in Las Vegas. She'd love to hear that.
Yeah, she would. But let's keep it professional. Now we're going to move from the singer to the writer, because we have got a song that we're going to play now for the listeners that they have heard Michael Lusk sing previously and take all the way to number one on the charts, not just here in Australia, but worldwide. And it comes from a remarkable songwriter by the name of Marty Denton. I'm going to pass over to you now, Shaza.
Yeah, look, Marty and we've actually really connected as songwriters, and I love this man. He's just got a beautiful soul, and the material that he writes is always written with true depth. He writes a lot of spiritual and inspirational music that I connect with very, very much. And this song, Mama's Wall of Fame, like you said, it carved up the charts when we released it last year. The top 10 of most charts, number one on many of them, including our national traditional chart and the international chart. But he also, Marty has given this song and had it recorded by many other artists. And he actually approached us to release this one, especially for Mother's Day, by an artist from over in America, Colleen Walters. Now, Colleen's quite renowned in Nashville and that area. She moved to Nashville years ago, and she appears regularly on the Grand Ole Opry, and so she's one of their true artists over there. So Marty was very excited when she decided to cut a version of Mama's Wall of Fame, and I don't think there's a mother around that's not going to love this song for Mother's Day.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful song. I had concern when he first approached me on this, because Mama's Wall of Fame was played and played and played and requested and for months here on our stations, and it was just a little bit concerning that we'd hear it once again. But I don't know, I felt it straight away when I heard Colleen, because I've had Colleen Walters before on Oz Country Music Radio,
right?
And I loved her voice, but when I heard her sing this song, I don't know, I genuinely forgot the words of the old song, because I was so concentrated on her vocals. And
her version, the production is so different, and the song was given such different treatment in the studio that it doesn't even sound like the same song. That's quite extraordinary how a song can be totally shifted and changed by the delivery and the production that an artist gives it. I thought it was a very outstanding version in its own right, but very different to Michael's.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because being a producer and identifying that is really opens the door to this song. Colleen Walters, folks, and Mama's Wall of Fame, and this is for all the mums on Mother's Day.
A lifetime of memories on these old paneled walls, moments captured in time, children and grandkids and a few hound dogs, pictures fading with time. Children giggle as they see their mama at 13. Grandma, ain't she the prettiest little girl you've ever seen? She'd show her pictures to everyone, then sit down in her swing. To hear her talk, we were her everything. And in our hearts we knew that we would to be on my mama's wall of fame. She was the best part of what we all became. To be the most famous woman in the world wouldn't mean a thing if I wasn't on my mama's wall of fame. When she went to heaven, my world just fell apart. But upon that wall, I'll forever be a part. One of the treasures of my mama's heart. Now time has passed, but memories always last. On a brand new wall, her pictures hang. Grandkids ask me, who is she and what's her name? Honey, that's my mama, and this is her wall of fame. Yeah, yeah. So proud to be on my mama's wall of fame. She was the best part of what we all became. To be the most famous woman in the world wouldn't mean a thing if I wasn't on my mama's wall of fame. Ooh. If I wasn't on my mama's wall of fame. Ooh.
Yes, the fabulous Colleen Walters there, a Mama's Wall of Fame. You are tuned in to www.oz Radio Gold, simulcasting on Oz Country Music Radio and Allied International Radio.com. Great to have you on board our Star Central International show with myself, Mark Eckel, and Shaza Leigh. Well, Shaza, that was just beautiful. I enjoy her voice immensely.
I do too, and it's a fantastic version. So I think that Marty Denton's probably got himself another hit shaping up on the same song. The response that we're getting to it already has been pretty amazing.
Okay, let's go from it probably can be called a cover, Mama's Wall of Fame, because it did get to number one previously, to a contemporary song now, or piece of music brought out by one of the fellows that I have been following. I know that you initiated his career, and I'm talking about Anthony Baxter here, wonderful guitarist out of Tamworth. But Anthony's music came to me some time ago at Oz Country Music Radio when he put out an album with, I call him the master of the Australian guitar playing, and his name's Lindsay Butler. And they put out an album together, and it was just beautiful, and it got so much airplay here. And I've followed his career pretty closely, and lucky enough to meet Anthony a couple of years ago at the Tamworth Festival, and found out what a decent young man he is, and then found out that you at OLBS are nurturing his career and doing such a great job. And I've got to take my hat off to you. I know you won't for yourself, Shaza, that you're writing some beautiful music for him. And this latest production is just gorgeous. Pride of New England. And he's delivering it beautifully, isn't he?
Oh, he is. Look, Anthony's just an extraordinary kid, and when we met him, we just loved him as a person. I've got to say, I was a bit taken aback by the tattoos because he walked in and he looked more like a little rocker than he did a country player, and I thought, what have we got here? Anyway, I sat and had a meeting with him when Lindsay wanted to do an album for him, and just basically laid it out what was required for us to fund an album, because you're talking about a $20,000 investment minimum when you put out an album for an artist, and you want to make sure that there's an integrity about that person. And that was the thing that really captured me was the honesty and the integrity of the boy, and he will work hard. And it doesn't matter how great an artist is, if they won't put the work in and do what needs to be done to promote their career, then they don't have a career. And it's been like that since year dot. And even me, I've been in this business for 40-odd years now. I still work at minimum of 12 hours a day. And my dedication is basically what sets any career apart. You're a product, and Anthony Baxter does the work, and I love him for that.
And that's some of that time that you're spending during the day, of course, is put aside for songwriting. And the music that you've written for him, Pride of New England, how did you develop that? What was the motivation behind this tune?
That song was actually written for an album of mine. I wrote an Australiana album in 2016, and they were all Australian songs about Australian places, and I wanted to write one about Tamworth, and Tamworth is renowned as the pride of New England, and because that's the region here, and I wrote that song for me to perform, and when Anthony was listening through my tracks, he said, "Oh, can I do that one?" And I went, "Really, a waltz?" And he went, "Yeah, I really feel that. I want to play that." I went, "Right." So that was the one that we decided to run as his lead single for 2024.
Well, that's a first for me. What album was it on of yours?
It was on Homeland.
Okay, well, I'll have to go because I love playing the vocal as well when I come across an instrumental, and I love and likewise when I hear an instrumental that hasn't been put to lyric, I like to introduce people to music that I think should have a lyric because it's so beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, you've been trying to get me to write lyrics for "Mist on the Murray."
Oh,
Lindsay
yes.
did as an instrumental.
My gosh, why did you have to put that in my head again?
Came out about 6 years ago. But I wrote that for Lindsay as an instrumental, and he really wanted that to be just an instrumental, so I haven't touched it.
Oh, my gosh. I'm just looking at Lindsay Butler's Ultimate Collection. Is it on that?
Yes, it is.
All right. Okay. Well, you've done your dash now. I'm going to have to play that through that interview with the fabulous Lindsay Butler, who incidentally is coming up in around about 10 minutes' time. So really looking forward to that. All right. Well, let's go to Anthony, and this is called Pride of New England. And this is charting at the moment too, Shaza?
Yes, it is. It's hit the traditional national chart, and I think it's gone into nearly every chart in Australia already. We've released.
That's fantastic.
You're listening to a Star Central single release, available to radio stations around the world. Star Central team thanks you for listening to another great artist.
Yes, and he is a fabulous artist of the guitar, Anthony Baxter, with a song written by Shaza, Leigh, Pride of New England. Hope you're enjoying the show this morning. Really excited to be able to present our wonderful talent here, not just here in Australia, but independent artists throughout the world. One thing, Shaza, I was going through my mind whilst that was playing is that Lindsay would be very proud in hearing the quality of that playing.
Oh, absolutely. Like, we're all extremely proud of what Ant's achieved, and he works very hard at his craft, and Lindsay guides him every step of the way. So
yes,
they've got a really good friendship that has been built through their mutual love of the style of music that they play.
Yes, and of course he would be thrilled. Anthony would be thrilled to be associated with a master as we do have in Lindsay's wonderful playing. Now,
absolutely,
I am going to go to somebody who excites me, Sandy Summers. You know that name, don't you?
I do. And look, Sandy has just been carving it up in the last 6 months on radio in Australia. And we wanted to feature her today because her last single, One Step at a Time, is truly a star-achieving track. We've been sending her material out, and this latest single, everything's just come together for her. She was a top 10 hit on the international country chart and came in at number 8 behind some incredible talent. And she also was number 1 on the Oz Hot Tracks in the contemporary country chart, plus a top 10 on every national chart in Australia. So we thought each week we'd like to feature some of those standout tracks that have actually achieved great things, and the Sandy Summers One Step at a Time was one of those tracks.
Yeah, and it's a great choice because not only is she a standout, she's got such a different voice. Her vocals, you can... I can nearly pick up a Sandy Summers song whenever I play one now because I'm so accustomed to that lovely tone, and also a dedicated songwriter, and you'd be so pleased to be associated with somebody that writes such beautiful material. Run Today, the song prior this, did very well for her as well, and Devil in Her Heart, to me, was an outstanding songwriting achievement.
Yes, they were all great songs, and Sandy works very hard also. Her productions are great, her songs are great, and she delivers everything in a professional fashion, even down to the way she markets and connects with her fan base. She really does do the work, and she's reaping the rewards. And I'm really proud of what she's achieved simply because she does everything right, and her productions are fantastic.
I'm glad you said that because it's such an important part of building an artist's career is to release their material at the right time. And I know that she has one to be released later on this month, and once again, it'll come in at the right time.
Yes, it will, because this one will have had its big run. It will have achieved everything that a song can achieve, and then she'll bring the next one in. And really, the smart artists, that's what they do. They actually just time their tracks so that every track can kick as many goals as it possibly can. Sandy does everything right.
Let's go to Sandy Summers and One Step at a Time.
You're listening to a Star Central single release, available to radio stations around the world.
I can't breathe. Why can't you see? The dawn is my worst enemy. My heart's a world. I'm a different girl. Can't find my way in this world. One step at a time. will fade one step at a time. My heart will find its way. You pass by, frame by frame. You're a walking book of flame. Open your eyes, see past the print. The same chapter repeats again. One step at a time, and you'll be fine. One step at a time, things will unwind. One step at a time, you'll find your way. One step at a time in this bed you made. One step at a time, this mess will fade. One step at a time, your heart will find its way. Day by day, minute by minute, your heart's just gotta be in it. One step at a time, why can't you see? One step at a time, but in between one step is love's apology. One step at a time in this bed we made. One step at a time, this mess will fade. One step at a time, our hearts will find the love we left behind. The love you and I deserve. Just one step at a time.
You're listening to a Star Central single release, available to radio stations around the world. The Star Central team thanks you for listening to another great artist. Purchase this track now, direct from the artist's website. The music industry needs your support.
Yes, fantastic. Sandy Summers, so pleased that Sandy's doing well with her music, because as Shaza Leigh has said, she puts in very, very well. Hope you're enjoying the music, and hope you're enjoying the insights that we're giving you from our Star Central International show with myself and Shaza Leigh. Shaza, a point that I want to raise with the next artist, and it's Alice Benfer. Alice and I go back quite a few years. She was a young teenager when she first came to the Mildura Country Music Festival, and we were delighted to have her here, and she has ever since put out beautiful music, and she's a lovely songwriter, and seems to be a songwriter that prefers to co-write, and she's put out an album called Voices from the Bush, and I don't think that you've seen the album, Shaza, but she had Widgie Widgie Station, which got to number 1. Long Black Skirts did very well as well, and Old Felt Hat is just on every station played throughout Australia at the moment, and also got her to number 1. It's a 11-track album, and the question I want to raise with you is something that I have been doing for some time as a DJ, and that is when a person sends me their single and then sends me the album, I look for the album, particularly at the latter stages of the single doing its job, to work out which is the best single to release. And lots of the artists actually ask me what would my preference be from the album. There's two sort of philosophies, isn't there, behind releasing an album? Whether you release a single to promote an album, or you keep the album back and release singles and then put the album out. What's your choice?
My choice is that I always release a couple of preliminary singles to actually get people interested in the album. Then the album comes out with usually about the third single, so that I've already got hits on it. That third single then it really helps the sales of the album. Then, like my last album, I actually had 7 singles off that. Every one of them made it into top 10 charts. Some of the songs perform better than the others, but the thing is, that's how I promote. So I don't physically send out albums for everyone to play what they want. I like to create hits and have people truly get to appreciate a song for the song's for the power of that song, and each one deserves attention. So I think if you've got a great album of songs, you don't want to waste them all by just dumping them out and letting everyone play what they want to play willy-nilly. So therefore, if you're creating these hits, people then know the songs and they want to buy the albums.
Yeah.
And like I say, I get about 2 to 3 years out of an album, and then I start, I've done my last single on that album now that came out last year, and I've now start releasing singles for the next album, and that's the way that I run my career, and I've been doing that ever since I started.
So as a songwriter now, what defines in you that the attention that a song might need a co-write?
Oh, look, I think a lot of people probably need to have co-writers when they're starting out, and some artists like to co-write with others to get new ideas, new lines, just to make songs fresher. A song usually needs attention at the production level, and we find a lot of songs come to us to go into production, and we go, well, look, that song's not quite ready to be recorded. It needs a little bit of work. And so usually it's very minor what needs to be done, but that's when co-writes are important. I think people like to co-write with others just to expand their writing abilities.
Yep.
And I know when I was younger, I wrote with all of the best lyricists in Australian country music, people like Rick Aitchison, Ben Jacobs, Kelly and Marion Dixon that wrote Leigh in the Long Yard. So I actually learnt from these people by looking at their lyrics. They gave them to me and allowed me to edit them and create songs from their poems. And that's how I actually developed my Australiana side of my songwriting career.
Yeah.
The inspirational and spiritual part of my songwriting, which is where I probably sit in my soul, I channel. So it's a different form of writing again. Therefore, I write on my own. I don't write with anyone in this realm. And so there's different forms of writing, but I think it's very good for young writers to write with some of the best so that they learn something off everybody.
And I think just by looking at Alice's album, she's certainly done that, because she's got co-writes with Sam Hawksley, Kevin Bennett, Kirkpatrick, also down there Brendan Smoother, Merv Maltman, some really beauties.
Yeah, it's a great learning curve to write with other great writers.
Okay, let's go with a song that is really doing well for Alice right now, Old Felt Hat.
Just an old felt hat from a drover, a bushman, a ringer who knows. Just an old felt hat nailed to a tree, out there where the lonely wind blows. And the hat on the tree tells the story. Rough times in the bush, life was hard. Mustering cattle for market, wheeling and filling the yards, wheeling the head of the leader, or fanning the flames for a brew, shading the head of a swearer, and young the old hat knows a few. And the lonely wind blows on the battered old brim as it hangs by the nail on the tree. It's easy to think it could ride high again if given the chance to be free. But I know the old hat is retired now. It has seen the best of its ways, though it serves to remind this old bushman of wilder, much happier days. Wheeling the head of the leader, or fanning the flames for a brew, shading the head of a squarer, and young, the old hat knows a few. And the lonely wind blows on the battered old brim as it hangs by the nail on the tree. It's easy to think it could ride high again if given the chance to be free. Just an old felt hat from a drover, a bushman, a ringer who knows. Just an old felt hat nailed to a tree, out there where the lonely wind blows. Out there where the lonely wind blows. Out there where the lonely wind blows.
Yes, Alice Benfer and the Old Felt Hat. What a beautiful song, and what a beautiful sound too, coming from Alice. Well, folks, I hope you're enjoying the program. I really am enjoying it here, and have been talking to the fabulous Shaza Leigh from the LBS studios and Star Central, our marketing arm. And this is the international show, and it gives me so much delight to introduce to you for the first time on our international show, the fabulous Lindsay Butler. Good morning, Lindsay.
Yeah, good morning, Mark, and big good morning to all your listeners, the many listeners that you've got.
Well, admiring your music from afar for such a long time now, Lindsay. It was fantastic to meet you last festival, and to be at the LBS studios with you, and to see you work, and it's absolute pleasure now to regard you as part of our team.
That's good. No, it was good to catch up through the festival, and it's now a festival, so it's good to catch up with everyone, really.
Yeah, it is. And you go right back, Lindsay, because I know that I think your LBS is celebrating its 30th year, and you're going to go on tour later on in the month, and with that, hand in hand, you're celebrating your 50th anniversary, because you put out that album last year, 1973 to 2023, with 25 fabulous tracks. You've certainly got a career that you can look back at, mate, with great pride.
Yeah, very much so. I've had a good run. I've enjoyed it, and I think you're pretty lucky in life if you can make a living and do what you want to do. I feel a bit sorry for a lot of people that obviously can't do that. It's a tough road. But I first moved to Tamworth in 1973, Mark.
Okay.
And I've been involved in country music ever since then. I did a lot of session work at Hadley Studios in Tamworth, and sort of learnt the trade there a fair bit. And I've been playing guitar and backing people on record and producing them ever since. So that's a few years ago now.
Yes, and it's fabulous that you got the opportunity to pass your wisdom on in the studio. That's terrific too. But what I'd like to talk to you about, particularly with you going on the road with the LBS team at the end of the month, is that you're probably going to go through some old country where you travelled a lot with Slim, because I believe that it would have been some considerable years that you would have been on the road with Slim and supporting Slim Dusty.
Absolutely. I also travelled all that country with my first tour around Australia was in 1968 with Athol McCoy.
Oh, lovely.
A Tasmanian country singer.
Yes.
And his wife, Eileen, who was a great fiddle player, and was with them for 12 months. And a couple of years after that, I was very lucky to get the job as a guitar player for Buddy Williams. And Buddy, I toured with him for about 3 years. And if you don't learn something from Buddy Williams about bush ballads and all that sort of thing, then you don't deserve to know. But and I covered all that country, all the missions and settlements up in the territory. We went around the whole lot. I think 1 year with Buddy Williams, we toured Australia twice in 1 year, right around.
Wow.
And that was a fairly big trip. And lucky, after I left Buddy in 1971, I think it was. No, not 71, it would have been 81. And then I was lucky I got the job with Slim Dusty and toured probably on and off with Slim for about, 17 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was a great experience too, because once again, if you don't learn something from Slim, you don't learn anything neither. So
no, I think, as you said, you're quite right. You rub shoulders with the best, mate, and that's so important. And as you said, and rightfully said, you've got to have luck on your side too to be able to be put in that position.
A lot of luck and a lot of hard work too,
yes.
Mark, there's no doubt.
Yep.
But I've enjoyed it all, and I'm very, very happy to say that I can still do it. Still producing stuff and still playing guitar, and that's what I love doing in life. So I'll do it as long as I can.
Mate, I'd like to play a track off your 50th anniversary. You probably don't remember all the tracks that are on the album, but I really wanted one of your favourites. Do you have a favourite from the album?
Probably, I got to say, they're all favourites for me. I just picked them all up to put them on a celebration album to take on tour a couple of years ago. And I love the music of Buddy and Slim. All the other fellas that I really admired were Hank Williams. I loved Hank Williams. And in recent times, I love Merle Haggard. And probably one of our family favourites, it was a favourite of my mum and my elder sister, who had a lot to do with my career too. And it's one of Merle's songs, Mama's Hungry Eyes. I think that one's on that album.
Yeah, it's a lovely song, and that's track 13. So we'll go into that track right now and play that for you, mate, and for all the family.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Just stick around.
Okie doke.
Yes, that's the wonderful playing of Lindsay Butler there and Mama's Hungry Eyes from the fabulous playlist of one Merle Haggard. What a late great Merle Haggard was. And you can acquire that particular track by purchasing the Ultimate Collection, the 50th anniversary Lindsay Butler. And I've got Lindsay online now for just a couple of minutes more. Lindsay, I've got to say this because she's probably listening, but it was an important time in your life when Shaza Leigh came into your life, mate.
Absolutely, yeah. She's been marvellous because she was interested in promoting Australian music as I was, and trying to get a partner that was interested in doing that was pretty hard back in those days.
Yeah, so, and it's been a while now. How many years has it been?
Oh, that's a hard question for me. But they've been good years. I'm very lucky to have the help of Shaz. She's been amazing, and she is an amazing talent. And we're also lucky to have the talent of Peggy Gilchrist, who's a great piano player, but she's fantastic on the old computer and everything too. So it's a very small team, but it works well.
Well, the artists are pretty fortunate that come to LBS to get the three of you working together to develop their product. Is nothing truer said than that. The other thing that I'd like to go out on, because we've got only a couple of minutes to go, Lindsay, is that I've really appreciated Shaza and yourself in regards to the talents that you have, and particularly the talent that Shaza has in her songwriting and also writing music. Because one of the standouts for me was a tune called Mist on the Murray, and it's on your Ultimate Collection. Isn't that a fabulous piece of music?
I'll just explain quickly how that came about. We camped on the Murray River one night down How Long, I think it was, the name of the town, and
yes.
Just woke up about 7 o'clock in the morning, woke up, looked out the window of the old motorhome, and he was the Murray River and Mist, and I said to Shaz, that would be a fantastic instrumental, and if we call it Mist on the Murray, and she certainly nailed it, there's no doubt.
Yeah, no, fantastic. A beautiful intro that we'll go out with. But, Lindsay, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, mate, being associated with Oz Country Music Radio, my station, and collaborating now with Oz Radio Gold. It's one of the thrills of my career. And to rub shoulders with you, a master in the industry. And, mate, let's hope that you're around for a long, long time.
I'd like to think so anyway, Mark. But once again, I say thank you very much for all you're doing too, promoting young artists, and just keep up the good work, mate.
Good on you, mate. We'll go out with Mist on the Murray, beautifully played by Lindsay Butler, and a magnificent piece of writing from Shaza Leigh. Thanks, everyone, for being part of Star Central's international show, and we'll catch up with you next week. Bye for now. Isn't that beautiful? The first time I heard that played, I thought to myself, wow, that is just fabulous. And I don't know how many hundreds of times I've played that. I never get sick of it. It's just beautiful. Mist on the Murray. And you heard the great man explain how that came about. And that's on Lindsay Butler's The Ultimate Collection. If you just want an album that you can just sit back and let it play for you, 25 tracks, so that's well over an hour, getting towards an hour and a half of beautiful music, then that's available. And they're going on tour, and you'll hear more about that later on in the month. So I really enjoyed that. That's fantastic. We're going to produce that into a podcast, so it's available. And that is a part of our promotional idea of keeping and giving back to the artists that promote with Star Central. So the more that we can do for our artists, the more we can promote their music, the better it is for all of us.
Thank you for supporting the international show with Mark Eckel and Shaza Leigh. Proudly sponsored by Star Central and produced by Butler Gilchrist Productions.